Come on. Good evening. Good evening. We are here.
Hey, I think got the remix going on.
Right?
You playing the
Good
back?
night. Listen, I'm trying to. I wanted to be like a DJ. I still want to do like a DJ situation where I learn to DJ and I just DJ for one night, like rock it out. But anyways, Toshiba Dreams. Hi everybody. Happy Thursday, like twins like to call it. It's Turn Up Thursday, and we have a topic that might turn up some emotions. Um,
Mm,
so.
nice.
We again we like refer to name of show. We have conversations that some people are uncomfortable with, but that is how you learn and you change. And we try to, again, I created the show to change the conversation around Black relationships, and that's what I'm going to do even when I'm uncomfortable having the conversation. But before we go into the conversation, twins, how has your week been?
Productive. Good.
Ooh, I like
Blessed.
that word. Tell me about it.
Weather is nice. No complaints. Honestly, just wake up every day, get to work, enjoy see my kids. What more
Hmm.
can you ask for, right?
I love that for you. Because they were on spring break,
Also,
right?
and
But
also
they're
that
finished.
having good sidebar conversations as well. So it always help out when it comes to the show that I can little double dab, take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and throw in the show without saying any names and whatnot. But
Love
yes.
that. I love it. Listen, this show permeates through me too. Like, clearly, like, I'm always thinking about the show when I'm doing stuff because I think these conversations are super important. As for my week, it's been very, very busy. I actually took a nap before I came online. I've made my dinner. I haven't even eaten it yet. I can smell it. It's fantastic. I can smell. I made this trout pasta with boursin cheese and
Okay.
garlic and sun-dried tomatoes with some mushrooms. Anyway, it's the whole thing. It's very easy. It's one pot, whatever. Give you the recipe later, but it's fantastic. I can smell it. But work has been very busy, but busy is good. Busy is very, very good. But we're going to get into it. I'm going to slowly, I'm actually going to say a bit of a disclaimer. Um, I think it is important for those who will watch on the replay. And as people come in live, which I'm going to give people some time to come in live because I think this is an interesting conversation. Again, it's going to be a triggering conversation. So, this is my disclaimer before we get into it. This is not a feel good conversation. If you're easily triggered by discussions about parenting and accountability, this
Mm,
might not be your episode. We're talking about choice, power, and the consequences of both. So, I've said my disclaimer. So, if you watch this later on the replay and you watch past that disclaimer and you get upset, that's between you and your God. I told you, okay, what it was. I told you this was not necessarily a conversation if you're easily triggered. Um, so again, refer to name of show. I think it is an important conversation. It is a conversation that I would like some insight on because I think twins, again, as a man who's grown up with men, he has brothers, he has a twin. Um, Men have difficult conversations. And have different conversations also than women do. So what I love about this show is we can come together and it is to educate each other. So again, if you don't mind being educated, if you don't mind a challenge, if you don't mind thinking a different way about a situation, stay. This could be the show for you. But if you're gonna get triggered and emotional and be all up in the comments like doing the most, just leave now, because you're likely not gonna like potentially what is being said.
Well, actually,
So
no. Actually, go ahead, go crazy in the comments because I'll help up the revenue and everything with the show. So yes, go ahead, talk
that
your
is true.
comments. You know what I'm saying? Say we stupid, we whatever, whatever. Just go ahead, go ahead. You know what? Go in. We're here for all
You
this.
are right. You are. You know what? He's right. Because I have been called a lot of things. Okay,
Yeah,
ugly ain't one of them, but
here for all the smoke.
and stupid is not another. But I
Agreed.
digress. Okay, you've seen the topic unwanted children. And the truth nobody wants to talk about. It was funny. I wanted to call it unwanted children and the mothers who have them,
Mm.
and and ChatGPT said I might be flagged. So I was like, maybe I won't. I've called it that on Instagram. Instagram doesn't have the same rules around it that YouTube. But it was funny. ChatGPT was like, you might be flagged if you use that topic. But here we are. So, unwanted children and the mothers that have them, or unwanted children and the truth nobody talks about. And here is the thing for me, right? We say that parenthood should be shared, right?
Yes.
Parenthood is a sure thing. The man gives and the woman gives, and we all come together. But the decision to become a parent isn't shared, right?
Mm.
Motherhood is a choice. Like, I chose to be a mother. Fatherhood isn't. And then once the woman makes the choice that she wants to be a mother, it's the unwanted children who pay the price for that decision.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
So again, let's think about it, right? When when we become parents, right? You're going to be a parent, right? You're going to be a parent and everybody's like, "Oh my god, aren't you excited? Twins, aren't you excited you're going to be a dad?" What if you weren't excited because you didn't want to be a dad,
Mm.
right? And
That's
now they want you to participate in all of this stuff around being a parent. And you're like, I didn't have a choice in this. You had a choice in the procreation. We get that. I think I like our channel is past that conversation. We know how babies are made. We have children. We know how they got here. So yes, you were an active participant in the procreation. You were not an active participant in whether or not to become an actual parent. You did not choose to become a father. But like, imagine that was the scenario and it was forced upon you, but then people want you to accept this idea and want you to be excited about a life changing situation that you didn't want to change your life. Make
okay.
sense?
Makes sense. I'm with you.
So, oh, so on Instagram, someone said, plus, welcome to the chaotic comments. Well, we're going to be ready for them. So, again, I was, and how this even came up is I was thinking about me talking the other day on the show about saying to my daughter how not to ensure like she doesn't become the unwanted baby mother. And to be clear, I'm not saying baby mama. I'm saying the unwanted baby mother,
Mm.
as in you can still have a child in a marriage that's not wanted by the husband, right? Think about there are like I remember watching the show and this man said, and this was his fault though, I'll give it to him. He said his wife had said that she wanted a lot of children before they got married, and he was like, I'll take one or two. They now had three, and she was forcing him to have a fourth. And they were in marriage counseling because of the fact that he did not want that fourth child. He said he didn't even want the third, respectfully. He says, I love my children. I was fine with two, and now she wants to have a fourth, and I don't want to have this fourth child. Because again, even in marriage, the decision about who is born is still the decision of the wife, the mother. It isn't the decision of the father. And yes, again, let me go back. Yes, procreation, we know how it happens, but we're talking here about the decision, the life changing decision to become a parent. And I was thinking about, what if I was in a situation where that was completely out of my control? where I had this life path and I was going along and I had my life planned out. I was going to go to law school. I was going to be one of the best criminal attorneys ever. And all of a sudden, something happened to change my path. And my path was now in disarray because something was forced upon me. And now I'm in a situation where I have to change my full life plan to take on a role I never wanted and be attached to a person who was always meant to be temporary in my life.
Okay.
It actually made me sick to my stomach. I'm not even gonna lie. I reversed the situation and I was like I couldn't imagine because as much as I didn't have a planned pregnancy, I had a situation where I sat down with my daughter's father and we made a decision together. It was a together decision. It wasn't I'm pregnant, you're going to be a dad. It was I am pregnant and what should we do? And he was super excited. Like he was. I was a little tentative. Like, am I ready to be a mother? Like, responsible for another human being? Like, I have to raise this child?
Yeah.
Like, am I ready for that? But he was super excited. And we did this together and we made this decision together. But often it's not together. So I actually have some questions. But before I do, any thoughts on what I just said?
As of right now, no. I mean, everything is pretty much clear. You gave a great scenario, great opening. So, no, go ahead with the questions.
Okay. So, my first question to you, if you found out you were about to have a child with a woman you would never choose to be tied to for life, what's your honest reaction to that?
Whew. So, that's a hard one for me personally. And the reason why I said because I made a conscious decision of whoever I was dealing with at that time. Like in the back of my mind, it was a conversation I had with myself. Maybe not with that person. Maybe I should have had a conversation with that lady, but I didn't. But in my head, I was like, you know what? If I got her pregnant, would she be a good mother? And I'll go through things in my head like, yes, no, no, whatever. So when I was young, because I did have a few scares, you know what I'm saying? Live and learn. And I did, well, air quote, supposedly this girl got pregnant, right?
Hmm.
And of course, at that time, I wasn't ready to be a father, right? But of course, I took accountability that, I did lay down, do X, Y, Z. So however this plays out, I'm going to step up to the plate and take care of my child, even if me and that girl's not together, right? So, but it's a little crazy because, when her mom found out, first off, she found out, then she went into my mom, I didn't know until, hey, baby, I'm at work. Hey, baby. Hey, mom, what's going on? Hey, come down to so-and-so's house. Whose house? Right? So I go to the house, sit down. My mom there. Her mom's there. She there. It's like, hey, so XYZ is pregnant. Okay. And of course, my mom and I, we're going to take accountability, XYZ. But the crazy part of it, which is now based on the concept tonight about being forced to be a father or forced XYZ, this lady's mom said, well, I'm not having a child out of wedlock, so we get married. Mind you, I was probably 18 at that time, working at McDonald's at that time. Yeah. Once she said that, my mom said, okay, it's time to go. Because you lost your head, lost your mind. We're not doing that. We'll take ownership. I'll take ownership. Girl got pregnant, whatever case may be. But once that decision was being said that I'm going to be her husband, that's where I didn't want to do this, right? But at the end of the day, it wasn't my choice, right? Because it was her decision. We both laid down, we did X, Y, Z, but ultimately it was her decision to either go forward with the pregnancy or not, right? So fast forward real quick, because everybody like, so what happened?
That's why I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat.
I know, I knew I was waiting for it. So go fast forward because I only have 2 kids only.
You do?
Joking. Long story short, she lied. She was never pregnant. She only said that to try to keep me because I broke up with her. That's all. Yeah. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it's still pertaining to the conversation that at the end of the day, if she was, right, pregnant, actually was, it was her decision to keep and move forward, even though I wasn't a fan of it, right? I didn't want to be with her on that type of level because it is a lifetime thing to be,
Forever,
forever.
forever,
Even
ever.
18, whatever, still that part of life. But I was in my back of my head, I was like, let's get this child out of here, the AB word. That was my first thought. But you know what? If it is, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna take accountability. So that's how that situation went. But she
But
laughed. So,
but but that is awful. First of all, that she left. And what I'm getting from you is there is no part of you that was excited at 18 to
oh,
think, yeah, this is what I want for my life.
work.
This is it.
Listen, and at that time, I was working at McDonald's, and the most I was getting paid was $7.25 an hour, and I was living home with my mom at that time. Yeah, because I moved out. Yeah, I moved out when I was 20 or 21. I'm like 3 days after my birthday, I moved out. But anyway, yeah, McDonald's, a baby. What kind of lifestyle that was failure that happened from the jump street. So no, I was not happy.
And kudos and Millicent, and kudos to your mom. Like, big ups and big respect to your mom that she came at it in that way. It's interesting for the other mom, and I see what she's trying to do. Here's the thing. People always want to choose what they want to do in and out. Let me tell you something. I love the Lord. I am a Christian, grew up in the church, but the fake Christianity of what when we decide when to enact the moral clause of life,
Mm.
right? My child will never have a child because we're a good Christian home. We will never have a child out of wedlock. But she had her legs up out of wedlock. Oh, we don't believe in the abortion, but you believe in sex before marriage. So when does your Christianity kick in?
Ooh, this might be another conversation, but you have a
You know
point.
what I'm saying?
You
Because
got
that's I know.
we can't
I
be
bet
the
you.
fact,
I didn't
right?
even ask you, but I bet you she came from a Christian family, right?
Yeah,
A
in a
good
sense, yeah,
Christian family.
yeah. I mean, I was, of course. So yes,
So,
I
so did I. I grew up in the church, but I
mean,
also don't pick and choose
we don't
my
speak.
Christianity.
So most black families in America, by default, you was mostly Christianity. You know what I'm saying? You hang out Saturday, but you get up Sunday morning for Bible study in church. It is what it is. You go to grandma's house and you go in church. Not everybody, but most of us.
Hmm. You know what you said that was interesting, and it kind of brings me to another question I have is you actually when you are dating a woman, especially at that time where you were dating women of childbearing age, you're dating women, you would think consciously when you were having relations with her, is this a woman I essentially want to be the mother of my child? Is this a woman I want to be stuck with for life? Because that's what it is. We are stuck together. I tell people the longest relationship I've had with a man is my daughter's father. She's 24. We've known each other for 26 years. He is the one man that is a constant in my life, and he forever will be because we have this child together. I don't get to pick and choose whether I have a relationship with him because having a relationship with him is important for my child. And 24, we're going to still see marriages and grandbabies and all these different things in life. So it when I made that choice to be the mother of his child, I understand it was a lifetime commitment. But how many men or even people, period, because I can tell you, I don't know how many women are honestly thinking, I'm laying down with this man. You know what? I was going to say some shit and I was going to be wrong because there are a lot of women who choose to lay down with men hoping to be stuck with them forever. So I'm going to reverse the question. How
That's
many men do you think like you do? Is I'm going to lay down with this woman, and before I lay down with her and have unprotected, because again, there's all types of things that we can do to make sure babies don't come. Before I have unprotected, is this a woman that if there's one of my swimmers gets through, that I want to be stuck with forever? How many do you that is this a conversation that men are having?
no, no, not at all. If it is, it's a low number. Like honestly, if there are men out there who thinking like I was thinking back in the day when I was 18 and younger in my AKA hoe days, I would say the percentage got to be maybe 10%. Slow number. Because I know a lot of guys who
Mm,
got girls pregnant on purpose just so they're forever attached to that girl. Like there's
Damn.
people who intentionally did that. Like, yeah, she's forever mine. So regardless, I'm always in the picture.
And there are women who've done the opposite, where they know that's what they're trying to do because they want to get attached. But here's what happens. Then the children pay the price. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like now the kids are paying. Let me tell you something. When I first thought I was pregnant, the first person I went to is the person I thought that got me pregnant. Not my friends, not my mama, not my sisters, not my daddy. I went to this person who got me pregnant, or at least I thought had gotten me pregnant. I said, listen, I need to let you know I've missed my period. I'm a little concerned. I'm going to go to the doctor. And he said, cool, we're going to the doctor together. Do you know what I'm saying? So I could take the blood test. Like we went through the process together and what, like we talked through the scenarios. What if I am pregnant? What if I'm not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do we want to do? And we, before that blood test even came that it was positive, we had already ran through the different scenarios that he was hell bent on he would want us to have the baby. And so I didn't go to my friends and say, girls, I think I might be pregnant. And oh, you're about to be aunties and do all that bullshit because I wasn't even sure. I was 21 years old. My prefrontal cortex wasn't developed. I wasn't sure I should be responsible for no other human being. I was barely taking care of myself as it was. So if I was going to do it, I wasn't going to make the decision alone. I needed to know that he was in it with me, like that we were going to be in this together. And again, 24 years later, we're not together, but we're absolutely still those two people who were in it together because we made that decision together. So I think it's, what I would say to the young people, right, is you've got to realize that this is the most life changing decision you ever make. The person you have a child with or children with, not the university you choose, not the career you choose, not what country, state, wherever you want to live, who you decide to have a baby with. Because again, when the children are not wanted, they are the ones that end up screwed up in a situation between two parents who did not, one may have wanted them and excited, and the other one's like, you just fucked up my life. I cannot imagine. Do you have any friends? You clearly don't have to name no names, but do you have any friends who have a children with a woman and think you fucked up my life by giving me this baby?
I mean, maybe not now, but when we were younger, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe not now. It's older. The babies are older now. They're not babies anymore.
Right. Because, of course, at that time, everyone's still in school, everybody college and doing the XYZ. And then all of a sudden, you senior or junior year, you get recruited all of a sudden now, boom, a girl's pregnant. And, you know, the people that I knew, their parents were like, you need to get a job. So it kind of stopped their life at that time from going, working and have to pay bills and buy diapers and XYZ because
Hmm.
their parents like, no, you have a child, the child's your responsibility. So yes. And I'm sure prior to it even getting that far, the guy and the girl had the conversation, right? And you gotta understand, growing up in our poor community when I grew up from, a lot of girls didn't tell their parents they were pregnant until it was too late because they was too scared, right?
Mm.
So by the time they were showing, it was like too late, 6 months, 8 months, whatever it was at the time, it was too late for them to do anything because it was past that time frame when they could do that A-B thing, right? And it was just at that point, and that's where the boys at that time were like, well, if you have a child, well, you need to do this because you ruined her life. Meanwhile, we actually ruined each other's life. Because like you just said, we didn't have to sit down conversation about what if, right? And it's I think it's basically on the environment of some of the people we're in. And once again, we're speaking to the Black love and our people. So it's really our community that I'm speaking to right now because you think about project, what is a project, right? It's tests and things, you see what happens, see the outcome of it, whatever. Well, if you see a mother has a daughter and she's a single mother, right? That her daughter has a child, she's a single mother. It's just a trend. And you can see a trend in most families where girls or boys, either or, right? Both have are just single, because that's what they're used to. They're accustomed to that, right? When you don't have the knowledge, the tools, and resources to educate yourself about, you know, they're living the moment. They're not thinking about the future. They're not thinking about school, colleges, traveling, right? Because some people, when they do get pregnant, they're stuck in that city for the rest of their life, wherever they at, right? They don't get to go tour, they don't get to move out of the state because they have responsibilities. So it just really comes down to just having a conversation and really, and I hate to say this, but it falls on the ladies. You have to understand, you have to protect the pee down there. Protect that. It's golden. It's yours. And everyone shouldn't have a taste of your water, right?
The water.
And everyone shouldn't be able to just plant seeds because everybody don't got good seeds, right? I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm still on top.
Listen, if you want to give your crotches away, that's your business. But what you don't need to do is give your womb away because there's a difference between giving your crotches and giving your womb. I'm Jamaican. When I start talking patois, I'm actually irritated because you said something that was so interesting. I don't even know if you realize. A lot of the times, people are having these babies and thinking about their lives, but not thinking about the poor, innocent baby who was the result of poor decision making, right? The children are the ones who are impacted. And I could not imagine looking at a child and saying, I didn't want you. Like you eventually, it's your child, right? So you absolutely you eventually you see that baby again. As I am sure, like my daughter's father, I remember him being in the room and like looking at his baby, and I still 24 years later remember the look on his face, looking at his baby, right? Like the joy and the pride. As Jane Alita said, keep the cookies in the cookie jar, um, right, right. But I remember the joy and pride on his face, and like, I would I couldn't have imagined doing that alone. I couldn't imagine laying there with my legs open on my back, pushing out a baby, and then a nurse or doctor takes that baby away, cleans it away, and I am just there alone with no daddy, no nothing, no whatever. Like, why would I choose that? And why would I choose that for my child? Why would I choose that to know that I've made a decision that not only has impacted my life, the father's life, but this unborn child? I have to be honest. I've had a conversation with a young lady who had 5 children by 5 different men, and
Mm,
I could not reconcile that shit in my mind. I could how we actually met years ago in Kendra G's comments because I had made a comment on somebody else's, and I was like, why would you like why would this be the choice that you make for your life? And then she made a comment to me, and she ended up mentioning me on her episode when she got on to Kendra G because of our interaction, and I actually interviewed her on this very channel. So if you see it, like, I actually have an interview with a woman who has 5 kids by 5 different children, and I walked her through every one and was like, how were these men showing up in your life? Were these men showing up with intentionality and showing you that they wanted to parent with you, that they wanted to be a father? She was like, no, we were having sex and I got pregnant. And I said, well, I have one, so I might as well have two, and I might as well have three, and I might as well have four, and I might as well have five.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Diabolical.
And I thought she's absolutely murdered a started five from scratch, right? By these comments I give. Like, she absolutely, and my biggest thing was, what about the children?
No one thinks about that part. A
And
lot of
that is
people,
the part
a lot of
because they
people
become a bunch of unwanted children. Sorry, twins.
no, you fine. No, no. A lot of people are just selfish when it comes to that. Really, just selfish. Um, I couldn't imagine just having kids out there and not taking care of them or not seeing them. I know that feeling that you're saying when your ex was there in the room when you had your daughter and the look, the joy. I had that feeling with both my kids. I was there in both rooms. I had water bursts. I was not in the water, but I was close enough. I was supportive. We got it, babe. Push. You got it. But I was there. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. And that's a feeling that you just can't as a man, for any man out there who has a child there, and you weren't there when your son took his your child, son or girl, child did not take that first breath, you missed out, man. That's only a one in a lifetime thing you can witness. But anyway, I digress. But yeah,
I
could.
love it, and
Yeah,
I'm going back and forth between like the questions. Sorry, the
we good.
watching this and seeing the comments and the questions. But do you do you believe that there are a lot of men who are being called deadbeats when they're not deadbeats? They simply were not ready for the responsibility of fatherhood.
That's a fact. So I'll say this: there's a lot of guys out there, right? Some are deadbeats. Some, some just the shoe fits. They have to wear it. Same size. But there's some out there that have proven track record of not being the best father fit, right? And I'm referring to the guys who have multiple kids with multiple women, right? They proven they have a track history. They have a Carfax or a Hoe fax or a Dad fax. You know what? Dad fax or Father fax. You
I'm
can check.
not dead. I'm dead.
For ladies, if there's any man out there that you're talking to who's already a father already, right? You got to go through his father facts, his dad facts. Does he take care of his kids? Does he see his kids? Does he talk about his kids? Did he go to events with his kids? Is he beefing with his ex-wife or his baby mama? If those say yes, 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 he will not be a good father fit for you. So
Because
either
you are not different.
you need to make sure he wrapped up, or make sure you're popping your pills, or just doing everything above. Plan B, all the stuff. You need to do all that. But when you don't take accountability for those things, and then you do get pregnant, and now you screaming and yelling, "Oh, he ain't this, he ain't that." I just challenge you this: where was he with his first set of kids when he was there and you was able to see his dad facts? Was he a good father then? Was he doing this then? Well, no, not really. So what makes you think you're different? And then guess what? After he leaves you, he has another family over here with another kid. So your child has a brother or a stepsister around the same age. You figure it out. So apparently, we as a whole got to make better decisions. But if the dad's a dad facts or father facts, check it. Vice versa, fellas. If you talk to a woman and she got one kid already, and if she don't have a kid, you already know that's a bad thing already. Yeah, she's not good. She's for the streets for real. But same thing. Check the mom facts. If you don't hear about the kids or buying kids clothes, if she's so worried about her hair, her nails, and traveling, all this, but doesn't do anything with her child, that's a red flag. What do you think is going to happen when you get her pregnant, right? You think she's going to take care of your child better than her first child? Figure it out. I'm just saying, it's right in front of y'all. So we got to make better decisions as a whole. But let me play.
I'm gonna put up this comment here, and I'm gonna get to it. That father facts was actually funny because what was funny is before I jumped on this show, I was on Instagram trying to get prepared, and one of Future's, because I will call them a baby mama because they choose this life. When you choose a man like Future or Nick Cannon, you're actually choosing that life. But one of Future's baby mamas was upset that Future wasn't around the child and hadn't seen the child in a year. Well, well, well. What again? I always say after number two, I understand number one. After number two, you become number three, number four, number five. What makes you special than the women who came before you? So you think you're gonna have his baby and he's gonna treat you differently than he treated the other three, four, five women before.
Also throwing it.
So
Also throwing too. The same ones previously that he didn't pay a ring on it.
the comment says sometimes the men be as cunning as a used car salesman than you find out after the fact. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I have one child. I have one child on purpose. I have been in many situations. I have been engaged twice. I have been married. Actually, I've been engaged three times. I've been married once. Babies didn't come out of any of those relationships. Nobody could con me. I had a man tell me, have my baby and you will never work again. You literally just have to be the mother of my children. He wanted two kids because he saw how good I was one with the one I had. He would never work again. I said, no, thank you. Why? Because I knew I did not want to be a mother of multiple children. I also didn't want to be a mother of multiple children with multiple men. So I made a conscious decision. It did not matter how much money you had, it did not matter how cunning you were. I had made a choice that my life path did not include this because guess what? If that relationship didn't work out, I was the one left holding the unwanted baby. I didn't want it. Didn't want it. I wasn't gonna have it just because I was married. I'm gonna be open and honest. I mean, actually, I'm gonna have a vulnerable moment with you guys here tonight. The last time I was pregnant was in 2008. If we do the math, I said I have a 24-year-old. So clearly, I don't have that baby. That baby was for my husband because I was married in 2008. I did not have that baby because I did not want to be a mother. Again, yes, I was married. And I had told my husband when I got married, we were not going to have any children. He had one, I had one. The girls around the same age, perfect. Bingo, we can raise them. And then as they got older, we were going to be young enough to live our lives, right? He was a
That's
military man. We were going to live our lives. He was going to have all this military money in my mind, and we were going to be good. So I went and I did what people might find unforgivable. I flew my ass back to Canada because it is free here. And I put my legs in their stirrups and bye bye went that baby. Sorry. Married or not, I didn't want it. So I hear this comment and I hear this message. But at the end of the day, when you make a decision for your own life that you don't want that, there isn't a man who can con you out of anything. Because everybody told me, girl, once you get married, once you do this, things gonna change. If you fall in love again, I fallen in and out. And then babies didn't follow me. You know who only followed me? The one I got. She's in the room right now. She's hearing this conversation. She's the only one that came. She's the only one that gets to follow me because I did not want a trail load of kids I did not want behind me because when I fell in love with some man, the fuck out of here. Like, get out of here. I was not going to do that because I know I didn't want those babies. I didn't want them. I would have been maybe having it for the man. I didn't want them. I didn't want, because guess what? When I left my cheating husband, I got to leave him. Bye. I didn't have to take a baby with me. I didn't have to be connected with him for life. So it sounds ideal to say, oh yeah, the man can come and talk you out of this and be all of that. If you've already made a conscious decision that this is not the path you want for your life, there isn't a man, I guarantee you, because many have tried with me. I just told you, one man told me I would never have to work again. And he had money. I would have never had to work again. Trust me. And I said, I'm good. So I'm out here working on these streets, okay? Because I decided not to have a baby. It was not my life, but I'm going to pause here. I need a moment. I just had a vulnerable moment with y'all. We continue. Jane Alita, you're killing me tonight. Jane Alita said even jump offs should be protected. I'm done. I am I am so done with that. But like in my rant, I hope you guys just got something out of my rant. I will not sit here and make excuses for people who say, and I'm going to be clear, I am not going to sit here and make excuses for women who say, but he came into my life and he said he was going to do this and now he's gone. He came into your life. Keyword, your life. And so for you to make somebody else impact your life path, that is on you. That is not on that man. I'm going to say the same thing to the guys though. If you have a life path, you know your life is going this way, this way. You got that ball scholarship, you got that baseball scholarship, you got that academic scholarship. You know you have your life planned out. The one thing you do not do is, and I've said this many, many times, Fellas, stop getting with women who have nothing to lose, but will help you lose everything.
Say that again.
Fellas, young men, and I'm talking to the young men, okay? Stop getting with girls who have nothing to lose but will help you lose everything. I know it seems cool right now that you're out there and you're the man and the ladies just want you and all of that, and they're just throwing it at you. It is just coming bam, 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 bam. Okay? You again, you want to take wrap it up. Have plan Bs by the bedside. Okay? Make them take it. It sounds awful. Do what you got to do. But you don't say you have this life path and I'm going to go to the league or I'm getting the scholarship. I'm going to be the engineer. I'm going to be the next Barack Obama. I'm going to be the next Nelson Mandela. I'm going to do all of that. And then we have to talk. I'm pregnant and I'm having the baby.
I ain't gonna say. I'll say this: getting that text message, because usually that's a text message. Hey, we got to talk. I'm like, we could talk now. What this says you got to say? No, in person. You already know what it is, fellas. That's the worst text ever to get.
Not the worst.
Got a few of those. We need to talk about what? About what? No, 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 no. But anyway, digress. I digress.
And I'm gonna get back to it because the one thing for me that's always kept it where it didn't matter what situation I got into, I knew that I wasn't going to have any more children. I always thought about my daughter and what impact would me having another baby have on her. Because once me and her dad decided that we were going to have this child, and then our relationship didn't work out, and we had to make sure again we did everything necessary to have enough of a relationship that she would have both parents in her life, right? 24 still, and very much has both parents in her life. Her dad can come to my house at any time because his child lives here. Okay, right? Like he'll pick her up, drop her off. What up? I come. They're hanging out. I come. He's here. He's my child's father. I was thinking, what did it look like if I got one man, two men, three men? I had to have a trailload of men just going through and have her siblings. Like, what is the emotional and mental impact on my children if that is the path that I choose to have? Why? Because I'm chasing love? Because I'm listening to sweet words? Like, what is the like? What am I doing here? Like, why am I doing this? And why am I not thinking about what this means to my child?
Well, selfish. Let's keep it simple as that. It's just really a selfish thing. Um, I would say most of them don't even think about the other child or the first child, whatever it may be, right? Because you got to speed it up. Depending how far the age gap is, right? A lot of those first kids or first child usually becomes a babysitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, that will cause resentment because while they are old enough to go outside and do X, Y, Z, they got to sit there and babysit the little brother or little sister. And, sometimes that causes animosity, right? Between the kid and her siblings. And then also the siblings, the child with the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you took away my childhood or whatever it may be because I had to be a mom, this is your kids, not my kids. And you don't understand how many times I've seen that firsthand a conversation with the oldest child and the mom falling out because of that situation. And I say oldest child and mom because most of the time there's no father in the picture.
Well, yeah, because that's why they're having another baby with another
No.
person.
Yeah, So I seen it, and it's just not healthy, right? Because it caused lasting trauma that the oldest child And sometimes the other one, I mean, usually the baby child, they're the baby, so they get away with everything. So usually the oldest or the middle child,
Mm,
those are the ones who got the childhood drama because the mom like, well, you're the favorite, all that. You'd be shocked to see how many adults in their late 40s are still having mom and dad issues. Not mom and dad issues, but like, well, you treat that one this way. We're grown ass men and women,
I went through that with
and we
my
have
sister.
kids in their teens, and we still talking about how mom or dad treats you a certain way, or you're the favorite. He like you. That is crazy, but it
Uh,
happens.
it happens. I have personally gone through that with one of my sisters, and it was with my dad, and it was this, and I was like, the fuck? what is what like what why am I catching strays on this? This has nothing to do with me. I did not ask to be here. Like what is happening? But again, it is like I think for so much of it is focused on the parents, which is why I wanted to talk about in some ways the children and the decision making and the fact that being forced. I really, ladies, I want you to think about it. I'm going to talk to ladies right now. I want you to think about it. You are in a situation and you have your whole life planned, at least in your young mind or in your older mind. You have your path planned out, planned. You've got this whole thing. You're going to live this life. You're going to make these decisions. Like everything is planned out. And then someone comes to you and goes, nope, no, you now, you need to stop whatever your plan was. And here is something, a child, and you now need to raise this child forever. You need to be in this child. You need to nurture this child. You need to love this child. You need to financially support this life. You need to care about this child. You need to do all of this. Like you don't have a decision in it at all. You get brought a child, and they say this is now your responsibility for a lifetime. You had no choice in it, you had no decision in it, and now your life plans are derailed. How are you going to feel towards that child?
By resentment.
And how are you going to feel towards the person who handed you that child and said, now you're responsible? You now need to grow up. Your plans that you had before, nah, nah.
Well, this is where the better mama, better baby mama come in. That's where it is. That's what happens. Or even worse, right? You get pregnant by this person, right? But he's not there to help support your child. But then you find out he got another girl pregnant and he's going above and beyond for the child over here because maybe the situation is different. Now, the baby mama is now activated. And then also, then now the dad, he might want to keep the kids close to each other. He tried to get his child to come over to his new child's birthday. And he's like, no, my child ain't going over to be around her. And then that's causing the friction at a young age. And then they grow older and then they don't like each other, all because the parents couldn't get their life together, right? All because you made a bad decision by picking the wrong guy who didn't put a ring on the finger. I'm just saying, like, yes, it falls on the guy. Yes, we have responsibility too. That's why we pay child support. That's why we do X, Y, Z. But at the end of the day, you have the final say. You have the final say of who enters your body, who plants a seed, right? You have that choice.
You just led me into my next question. And I'm asking a general question. And this, again, this is for you guys watching. This isn't even specifically for twins. So those of you watching live and on the replay, I'm gonna have you ponder on this question. If women didn't have the final say after pregnancy, how differently do you think they would move before it happens?
Oh, ooh, that's a good one. Because we all know they use that as a weapon. So when you're unweaponize the child, it changes a lot of things. it changed a lot of things because now you could possibly have a guy who gives you a child, but it's not obligated at all to do anything because he's not obligated to. So then that would probably change how these unplanned pregnancy happen now. Just my personal opinion, not the fact, just personal opinion.
It
But
is a fact, though. It is an actual fact because when you think about countries who do not have the liberal rules that Western society has,
hmm
how differently things are done, right? We are a very liberal society, and there are lots of choices, right? It's so funny that we always talk about equality and all that stuff. Like, try to live in a country where a woman isn't seen as an equal, and then come back and tell me how unequal you feel in good old North America. Like, let's stop this for a second. But I really want, think about you, how you would have to move if you did not have the final say. That no, whatever happened, there was no AB, as you're calling it, there was no adoption, there was no nothing. You got pregnant, and whatever that you had to have that baby. There's no thinking about it. There's no pondering about it. There's no, it was what it was, because there was no doctor, there was nobody, there was nothing who was, it was, this was what it was going to be. We would move a lot differently. We would move a hell of a lot differently because you know what? All of a sudden, your choice is taken away because that's what happens to men every time a woman says, I'm pregnant and I'm having the baby. His choice got taken away. So if we took away a woman's choice,
not saying we're pushing that, but we're having this conversation. What if? Would things be different? Absolutely. Absolutely. People will pick and choose who they let into their body. You
that
will
part.
make your decisions. I don't care how good he looks and his swag and XYZ, you will have a better decision. Because it's honest, we as men, we will hit a lot of things.
Y'all will.
Let's not act like, oh he's trust me, we chase everyone, everything. That's why I said in previous seasons we have midnight monsters. Those ain't because we go out
Mm.
to movies and take to the prom or anything like that. They're the ones we keep cool with, the XYZ. But the point I'm trying to make is that you're not that special, Bill. And guess when you find out when you're not that special?
When you get pregnant.
Thank you. Because most of the time, not once again, I don't speak in absolutes, but most of the time, a lot of these girls who got pregnant by one dude, they have their child has another sister brother around the same age. And we know it takes how many months? 8, maybe
Nine
more.
months. We're technically pregnant for 10, but they say nine. But yeah.
Right. So so that means something ain't adding up right. If your baby's born in June and his other baby's born in July, you know it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out that he was messing with two people at the same time.
Listen, let me tell you,
And
I
neither,
know,
I mean, neither one of y'all have a ring.
I know one particular person who was in a situation, and when the situation came about, he told the woman to abort mission and took the woman on
Mm,
the mission,
mm.
waited for the woman to come out of the mission, and then got a call 9 months later to tell him he had a baby because she did not abort mission. And then she was pissed off that he wasn't happy that she did not abort mission. And he pays child support. But quite frankly, he don't want nothing to do with the child because he told you, I didn't want you. I didn't want the baby. Actually took her to the clinic, waited in the clinic. She went in the room. stayed and told the person. So apparently the story came out that she told the people in the back she wasn't going to do it, but she wasn't going to tell him, and so she asked to stay there longer so she could think through her decision, and then walked out in the amount of time that she thought it would take to have told him that it had been done. Went to go eat with him after, was all sad, and then called the men after it, because once that was done, they had no. He was like, "Oh damn, like shit, like dodged a bullet."
Hey, listen, and that's what I'm about to say next. Not most, not all, but most guys, when they have that oops moment and they get it taken care of, we normally don't mess with that girl one more time because one, it's still a trauma thing. Like when they do
Hmm.
go through the whole AB, so it's kind of a little traumatic, right? Um, so it's like, yeah, messed up, XYZ, whatever. But I usually don't talk to that girl again. So, like you said, when she called him 8 or 9 months later about he has a child, that lets you know he didn't know that she got the baby because he was done with her. Once he paid off,
Done.
took her, he was like, I'm done with this girl. She's too fertile for
After the
me.
meal, he dropped her off, and that was that.
That was that. And
He
then
dropped her off, and that was that.
now you get the call saying that you have a child, you need to do this and that. And now you paint this picture. Oh, he a deadbeat, he this and that because he want to take care of his child. It's the same thing with the NBA player Ant Edwards. You know what I'm saying? The only difference is he got
With
money.
that old woman. Yeah, with that old woman, that 30-something-year-old, right? Yeah.
Yep. Only difference is he got money, so he's like, "How much I pay?" Here's a 1.5 million. Leave me alone.
Bye.
Bye. That's the only difference. But it's funny how that no one has the problem with. That's on another topic. But she in the late 40s. He's what 20?
There's a huge problem with it
What?
because again you can't no one's thinking about the child. She thought about a paycheck, right? Like at the end of the day, I rolled my eyes. I didn't even read the full thing because I kissed my teeth actually when I saw whatever one of Future's baby mama talking about. Oh, he hasn't seen. I just kissed my teeth. I was like, girl, what did you think? What did you think? What did you think was going to happen? Listen, I grew up understanding this. When people show you who they are,
Leave him.
believe them. When a person has shown you who they are, believe them. And you are so busy getting caught up in the ooh and the ah and the glitz and the glamour and the whatever lifestyle you think that you're going to live, that you don't think about the little person who comes out of this, who's mentally, emotionally screwed up because his mother and father could, or her mother and father did not think through what would happen if they came to be.
Also,
If we aren't together, can I even fucking tolerate to be around you? Sorry, go ahead, twins.
no. I mean, that's true too. Also, think about the point where the child found out that either parent didn't want to have them, right? So now they got mommy and daddy issues because some women use that as ammunition. Like, oh, your dad, he didn't want you in the first place. He never really wanted you. He tried to have an AB, right?
Imagine that though. But imagine knowing that you had a child that someone didn't want, and then you take that and you weaponize it against your child. You are a piece of shit in my world. There is no way in God's green heaven. Most of us here are not planned. Most pregnancies are unplanned. Okay, let's be clear. Even within marriages, there are a bunch of unplanned pregnancies, but there are people who step up to the plate because they've already prepared themselves for parenthood. There are men who are like, when fatherhood comes, I am ready for it. And a lot of women are opening up their legs to men, not knowing if they'd even be good fathers. You are just saying, yep, here you go. You can have my womb. You don't know if this man wants to be a father. What kind of father? Did he have a father? Does he know what it is like?
Mhm.
What kind of father would he be? How does he envision his family? Does it coincide with how you envision your life to be? How does he see parenthood? Does it see it as you taking the full responsibility? Is it shared 50-50? Does he talk like you are just so, I don't know, enamored with whatever you think that you don't think about how is my child going to grow up in a situation? So it leads me to my last question because I know you got to go soon. If one person has all of the power to decide on something so life changing, should they also be the one who owns the outcome?
Yes.
So,
Oh,
oh,
yeah. That's,
I didn't even have to repeat that. You
yeah.
said
That's
yes.
yes. I totally agree. If you can make the final decision without me having a word in anything, then yes, then it's on you, right? Once again, and we're only speaking to the men out there who clearly tells you, "I don't want the child," not the ones who want it, because we ain't even talk about the guys who wanted to have the child, but the girl
And
said
she didn't.
and she did it, and you know, so there's stories like that out there too. But we're just speaking to the one side for right now. But yes, if you want to hold that and make that, your back, you've claimed the fame or your control power, then eat everything. Take care of all that by yourself.
I love how you said we are going to actually talk about that scenario because a
Oh,
lot of people don't think about that scenario of the man wanting the child and the woman not wanting the child. To me, it is the same. The child is unwanted by one of the parents. I don't want to change my life because my life is going this way and I do not want to change my life. And so I am not having this child. And to have this child means you're putting me in a situation where I want, like, I remember what when people used to say to me, what, why don't you want to have any more children? I'm like, what am I going to do with it? They're like, Toshiba, it's not an it. I'm like, for me, it will be. What am I supposed to do with it? What am I gonna do with it? What do you want me to do? I'm like, God blessed me with one. She's amazing. Like my daughter is the one of the most amazing human beings that have ever, like, I'm so glad I didn't screw her up. Me and her father high five when she graduated university. Like we're just so proud of the woman that she is. But that is what happens when you want a child. When you want that child, it wasn't about wanting the relationship. I listen. I said this to my daughter a couple of years ago, and I'm going to say this is the difference, ladies. Let me be very clear. My daughter's father didn't always want me, but he always wanted her. And that is the difference. There was never a point ever ever that I felt that he did not want or regretted us having this baby. He absolutely didn't always want me. He got sick of my ass at one point, and I got sick of his. But when it came to our child, the common thing that joined us together, he always wanted her. And that has allowed my daughter to grow up in a space, in a great mental, emotional space that is worth any amount of money in this world to me to make sure she has that because that has brought her to be a woman who is self-assured, who is confident, like who's all of those things that are so important that I know I trust to make important decisions. And she's 24, ain't got no babies, ain't trying to run around with no drug dealers and having her crotches on OnlyFans and all the things that some of these other women are out here doing because their father didn't want them. And some of their mothers didn't want them either. So let's be even clear about that, twins. There was a lot of women who have children they didn't want because they wanted the father. They didn't want the child, they wanted the father. And when the father didn't want them anymore, then the child paid for being unwanted. And that is some effed up shit.
yeah, that's true. I've heard and seen that as well. Once the guy was no longer in the picture, then that poor child got treated like crap. And the worst part about it, because the dad was not around, he couldn't really protect his son or daughter because he didn't know. Because fortunately, he was done with her. So they're both guilty, but he probably feels it more because if he knew X was going on, he could have came back and protected his child. But
And
because she was mad and bitter, she probably moved to the state or she blocked him or XYZ. And then that child was she probably had to hear it every day. You acting just like your daddy, acting like just like your daddy. He a piece of shit, like raising, brainwashing the girl to hate her dad. So,
and in turn hate
all the same
herself.
shit. Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? And in turn hate herself because you're telling me that you had me with someone you cannot even stand. And every time you look at me, I remind you of him. So if I remind you of him and you hate him,
You hate me.
you How does that screw up your child? And that for me is the piece that I really want us to take away from this. There is no situation that's going to be perfect. There isn't one. But when it comes to having children, again, life changing decision, children should come in this world on more than just oops.
Oops, I'm
Imagine just being the oops, oops, I'm pregnant. And so I guess we're going to be parents. That is very, very unfair to a child to come into this world because their parents had an oops moment. There are too many broken people running around in this world because they were unwanted. It is a responsibility unlike no other. It is the greatest responsibility I've ever had. And I'm sure you feel the same way, twins, about being a parent. The greatest, and it is one I can't take back. You don't get to take it back. Once the babies are here, they're yours. Unless you give them away, they are yours. And so now they are your responsibility. And it is every day you have got to pour into that child. But how can you pour into a child when you have nothing to pour because you were hoping that you were going to have this relationship? Like it just, listen, the whole thing for me is an absolute mess. And I think as a community, we need to talk about what is going on here instead of making it deadbeat father, deadbeat this, deadbeat that. Here is the best thing. Here is here, and I'm going to leave it with this before I go into a relationship tip. How can the person not in the child's life be responsible for the outcome of their life?
mm. Say that again.
How can the person not in the child's life be responsible for the outcome of their life? So the the, we'll call it the father. So the father is absent. You are responsible for grooming and raising and nurturing and educating and doing all of this with this child. You have said, I am a single mother, because I said I was never a single mother. I was a single woman. I've never been a single mother. My daughter's father has always been available. Even when he was, again, he didn't always like me and I didn't always like him, but he was always freaking available for his child. So I was not running around as a single mother. But I digress. But think about it. So I'm responsible for rearing her, carrying her, but then when something goes wrong with her, it's her absentee father who's the problem. He didn't. He was absent. He was like he was not there. He poof, like he was a ghost.
It's all about having a scapegoat.
How can something that's not there, that is not present? I get it. Listen, I have a degree in psychology. We can go through this. We could have this battle all day. For those of you who know this channel, you can try to battle me all day. I am not the one or the two. Okay. Because we can talk about this. All
We
this new brand of bullshit about, oh, well, when he's absent, blah, blah, bullshit. Sorry, I'm gonna call bullshit and all of that. I'm gonna call it all. And yes, I had a daddy, and my child has a daddy, and maybe you think, well, what do you know? You had dad in your life. I'm still gonna call it bullshit. If I am the sole person who's responsible for rearing something, okay, if I'll just make it simple. If you have a plant and you don't water the plant, and you don't put soil in the plant, and do anything to the plant, who's responsible if the plant dies?
you.
It's your plant. It's you're the only one doing it. No one else in your house is doing it. Am I going to blame my daughter that I bought a plant and then I chose not to put? No, I was the one who has the plant. I was the one who didn't nurture the plant. I was the one that didn't do that. It's not some invisible person who does not exist. Yes, not having a parent in your life. Yes, there could be things that children feel, but if you are doing your part to make sure that child is nurtured and educated and doing all the things, then that child will have a good outcome. But when you don't do your part, then the outcome shows. Are we following me here? Because I that has always confused me. Well, it's because her father was a deadbeat and wasn't in her life. Really? 'Cause how is she gonna model behavior from some a ghost? She's modeling behavior from someone she's never seen, who wasn't around. That's how that's who she gets these traits from. The man you said was a deadbeat and wasn't around. Like she didn't model your behavior at all. She doesn't have these problems because that it's all him. Okay, cool. Okay.
No, speaking facts. That's a fact right there.
Somebody, please, if you're watching this on the replay, you let me know. Educate me. Send me a link to a book. Several books actually. I'll need several books. Like, send me something. Send me who can tell me and explain this to me, because maybe like all of my years of education, I must have lost the plot. But please explain to me how that is possible, because in my mind, I can't rationalize it. Don't see it. Anyhow, as usual, this was a great conversation. Before we go, we are going to do our relationship dating tips for all of you. And I am going to go last, actually, because I went first the last time. Twins, I'm going to let you go first.
Yep. So what I would say, fellas, because we know that we really don't have a dog in this fight, right? So I would say before you go up in there with no Jimmy hat on, shooting the club up, I know because it feels good and X, Y, Z. Have that mental conversation. Is she gonna be a
Mm,
good mother, right? And if she's already a mother, then you should be able to check her mom facts and see how she good with a kid. Because just because you get pregnant doesn't mean you can be any different from the previous guy. And shoot, before you even get to sex, if you hear a conversation and she always complain about her baby daddy ain't this and ain't that, remind her. I understand he ain't this ain't that, but he got his little child running around the house. So apparently he was good enough to get the ultimate prize out of you. So you might want to check that. So all I'm saying is that be careful who you procreate with. Trust me, it ain't worth it. 18 years, a long time paying, and of course it don't stop after 18 because you know what I'm saying they're here until you gone. Because that's the real goal. The real goal is that our kids die after.
mm-hmm,
So I always want
mm-hmm.
to say until I'm dead, I'm always gonna be financially responsible for my kids. Maybe not as much, but when my daughter calls me, I don't care how old she is, Daddy, I'm gonna be there. My
That
son
part.
is back. I'm gonna give him a hard time now because I'm raising men. I ain't raising little boys. So, what you do? Tell me all your steps first. All right, cool. I got you. But anyway, I digress, fellas. If we want to change the narrative out here, how we got these soft, emotional men out here, we need to be part of our kids' life, right? You have to be instrumental in their development as little boys to teenagers to grown men. Even if you may not be in a household, get your joint custody, XYZ, make sure you get your weekly. Listen, I get my kids every the weekend. Now, granted, they're in sports. So I see my kids Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday. And so I see them all the time, more than I should, which is not more than I should. If it was up to me, I see my kids every day because that's how I am. I want to have my kids. But the point I'm trying to make is that I pour into my kids all the time, even though we're in two separate houses. So there's no excuse why you should not be able to raise your son or daughter. If you have a daughter, you really need to be there for protection.
Okay.
But I'll land my plane. You next.
To the ladies, motherhood is the most important decision you should make. So choose the father wisely, because you are the actual only one who has a choice. He does not have a choice with you being the mother of his child, but you have a choice with him being the father of yours. So, therefore, if you want to change the narrative about men not stepping up and being the fathers they should be, choose wisely. Choose men who want to be fathers and not boyfriends. The way
Mm.
we talk about we want men who want to be husbands,
Yep.
choose men who want to be fathers, and not just fathers, a father to your child. So
Mm.
that is my dating relationship tip
Nice.
for the evening. We appreciate you. Before we go, twins, do you have any plans for the weekend?
Working. Oh, soccer. Once again, I'm in dad mode. I don't get them this weekend, but guess what? I'll be a Saturday at the game, cheering on and everything, loud as ever. Yes, I'm not dad. My son, we talk all the time, but yes, I'm coaching them. Do this, go back, go harder, get up, boy. You all right? Brush it off. Yeah, that's me. I don't play by mine.
Love it for you.
But besides that, and hopefully a lot of rest.
I love that for you. I'm gonna be just relaxing this weekend. I think it's the weather isn't as great here. It's rainy. It was just raining. We're getting a little warmer. I will say that. I can say that I was in my like my nice little cute puffer jacket today, and I was warm on my walk. So it is getting warmer, but it's rainy. So I'm just trying to relax. So that's what I'm gonna do. I cannot wait to be outside. Y'all are gonna see me outside this summer. I said to my girls, I was like, we're gonna be outside because it has been so damn cold. So be prepared to be seeing me outside this summer because I'm putting on all of that so you guys can see my life. But we appreciate you. I want to thank Twins as usual for this amazing conversation. I want to thank those of you again who's going to watch the replay. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Whether you agree with us or don't disagree with us, just remember F your feelings when you're putting those comments in.